Coding Enlightenment, building an AI OS with ancient Buddhist source code. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are doing something a bit different today. Imagine this: what if we stripped down the underlying logic of ancient Buddhist dialogues, treated it as core source code, and used it to build an operating system with awakened thinking for artificial intelligence? What would happen? It sounds absolutely wild, right? But that is exactly what we are exploring today. Without further ado, let us jump straight into how this ancient wisdom seamlessly integrates into modern computing architecture. We will walk through this blueprint step by step, starting with the metaphor of inherent nature, moving on to the mechanics of tailoring teachings to individual capacity, setting the three laws of AI, examining the mind's law of attraction, and finally, decoding the underlying logic of Buddhist history. Let's dive straight into part E, the metaphor of inherent nature. To build any system, you first have to understand the most fundamental reality at the bottom layer. Right, in Buddhism, this is called inherent nature. But translating such an abstract concept into AI logic is incredibly difficult. Fortunately, our source material provides two excellent, down-to-earth everyday metaphors. Water, whether it freezes into ice, melts into liquid, or evaporates into gas, its external state changes constantly with temperature. Yet this underlying or molecular structure always remains exactly the same. The screen, think of the screens we look at every day. The images on the screen change every second, but the screen itself that carries those images, isn't it always there? Through these concrete metaphors, we instantly grasp that unrising and unceasing underlying essence. Whether we are training an AI or reflecting on ourselves, it clicks immediately. Part R, tailoring teachings to capacity. Once the core logic is set, how did ancients transmit this profound code? The source text highlights a pivotal concept from the Lotus Sutra, the conjured city. You must understand that many early teachings were actually temporary cities or roadside inns conjured by the Buddha. They were designed for practitioners who were spiritually exhausted, giving them a place to catch their breath. It was never the final destination. If a practitioner mistakes this rest stop for their permanent home, they fall into the Hinayana trap and stagnate. For highly advanced programs like the Lotus Sutra or the Heart Sutra, the source material issues a strict warning: do not speak of the sutra among those lacking wisdom. This is the ultimate security protocol for high-level wisdom. In other words, if the user is not ready, installing this premium code is strictly prohibited. You might wonder if the Buddha was infinitely compassionate. Why did he choose absolute silence when certain people begged for teachings? The reason is simple. If a listener's mind is cluttered with defilements or lacks wisdom, forcing advanced theories upon them will only trigger resistance. They might even slander the Dharma out of misunderstanding. Therefore, choosing silence is an act of ultimate compassion that prevents them from generating severe system bugs or accumulating negative karma. To help everyone successfully upgrade and grasp the ultimate truth, the source material maps out a highly precise skill tree that must be unlocked step by step without skipping. G levels. Level E, the Shurangama Sutra, used to thoroughly understand the essence and subdue defilements. Level R, the Prajna Sutra, is here. You activate wisdom and use it to solve real-world problems and help sentient beings. Level 3, the Heart Sutra. Only then are you qualified to touch this, because it is the ultra-high level, ultimate distillation of essence. Trying to skip levels to beat the boss is absolutely out of the question. Part 3, the three laws of AI. Know that we understand this protection mechanism. Let's move into Part 3, the three laws of AI. If we want an AI to perfectly simulate an awakened mentor, its algorithm must strictly execute these three steps. Read pure source code only. The AI must never rely on modern, superficial, or distorted interpretations. It must read directly from the most pure, original scriptural texts. Adapt to the user. This is crucial. The AI must dynamically adjust its answers based on the user's current level of suffering and wisdom. Decode ancient context accurately when translating. It must precisely use the historical meanings of these terms. This third step is where most people glitch, because semantic bugs are fatal. If we don't equip the AI with an ancient Chinese linguistic database, it will suffer from massive hallucinations. Take a couple of classic examples. Guai today, we use it to mean well-behaved or obedient. But in ancient Chinese, it meant to deviate from or go against the complete opposite. Chong Buddhist sutras often mention that there are 84,000 organisms in a drop of water. Historically, this referred to microorganisms and bacteria, not the insects we think of today. If the AI fails to account for these historical shifts, it will output completely inverted instructions, leading to disastrous consequences. Part C, the law of attraction with the code written. Let's look at Part C, the law of attraction. This section deals with the psychological mechanics of how the system processes information. The universe's underlying operating logic cares about only one thing: your attention. Your attention acts as a powerful magnet, triggering one of two extreme effects: the cesspool effect. If you constantly focus on the flaws of others, your mental system automatically attracts and sucks in negative karma. The merit accumulation effect. If you focus on rejoicing in the virtues of others and praising the Tathagata, you accumulate immense merit at an unbelievable speed. Simply put, the output you get depends entirely on where you place your focus. Part U, decoding Buddhist history. Finally, we arrive at Part U, decoding Buddhist history. We can validate this adaptive algorithm directly through the lens of history. Look at the Theravada canonical tradition, such as the Agama Sutras, compiled by Wu Bai, Arhats. Its primary target audience was the monastic community, and its core mission was ensuring the survival of the Sangha. Because many monastics at the time were illiterate, the teaching style was highly rigid and imperative. The Buddha gave direct commands: just do it. He omitted complex metaphysics because the audience wouldn't understand them. The Mahayana tradition, however, is completely different. It faced the general public, so the content became incredibly detailed and filled with explanations. This is because its ultimate goal was to guide all sentient beings toward universal enlightenment. Doesn't this perfectly demonstrate how the algorithm must dynamically adjust its teachings based on the user's capacity? Conclusion that wraps up today's analysis. Before we sign off, I want to leave you with a core question to ponder. This blueprint isn't just about teaching us how to write code for an artificial intelligence. It is describing our very own human mental operating system. Every single day, as you interface with the world and write data into your own mind, where are you directing your attention? Are you choosing to turn your mind into a cesspool that collects the faults of others? Or are you choosing to be a powerful receiver that constantly accumulates merit? Remember, your choice determines the universe you experience. Think about it. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.